So, good evening, everyone. This is Code with Gaurav. So, now I'm back with another video, and today we are going to discuss the problem, and the name of the problem is leader in an array. Okay. So, let me first explain you the problem, and then we move toward the coding section. Okay. So, this is the problem, and you all can read the problem first. I'm also reading the problem. Okay. So, basically, we have to find the element which is greater than all of it greater than the all element to its right, like the element must be greater than to all of its right element. Okay. Okay. And rightmost element is always a leader. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Okay. So let me first explain you the problem, and then we move toward the coding section. Okay. So sorry, one more thing. Okay, so this is the test case, and basically what we have to do what we have to do is basically we have to find those elements which are leader in an array, and simply we have to store that particular array. Like, we have to find the element. If the element is leader in an array, then we have to store that element, and then after that we have to print those elements which were leader in an array. Okay. So basically there must be one element, might be there, there will be one element or one or more, greater than one or more element must be leader in an array. Okay. So uh, I had considered three test cases, and let me explain you through the test cases. Okay. So basically if I want to find the element which is greater than to all of its right, like all of its right, so what I have to do, like, I can't traverse the element from left, because if I start traversing the element array from left, then I found the element which is greater than to all of its left element, but I'll not be able to find the right element. Okay. But I can do this particular thing with on square approach. Like, I'll run a loop for this particular element and find if this element is greater than to all of its, like I minus all of, or like all the rest of the element, and then for this 16 I'll find this particular thing. But this is naive approach, and this will take on square, and the complexity will be on square. But I have to find the on solution. So for that, what I'll do, I'll start traversing the array from right. Because why from right? Because I have to find the element which is greater than right. So if I want to find the element which is greater than right, then I have to consider, like, I have to traverse the array from right. So that's why so now consider the elements which are leader in an array. Okay. So basically this problem is very easy. You don't have to do anything, just follow the steps what I was saying, which I was saying. So basically 2 is leader in an array. Why 2? Because it is the leftmost element. So it is clearly mentioned in the problem, leftmost element is always a leader in an array, and it is true. It is always true, because there is not any element to its right. So there are not any elements, like there is not any element, or there are not any element which is to its right. So that's why this is the first element from the right. So that's why it's always be a leader in an array. So this element is leader in an array. This element is a leader in an array element. Okay. But now I have to search for the element which is greater than 2. So now the element which is 5 is 5. So 5 is the element which is greater than to 2, greater than 2. So now 5 is also a leader in an array element. But when I move toward 3, then 3 is less than 5. So it is not a leader in an array. And then I'll move toward 4. Then 4 is also not a leader in an array. Then I'll move towards 7. So here 7 is greater than 5. So 7 is leader in an array. Okay. So this is the element which is leader in an array now. And again, I'll move toward the next element. I'll just move my pointer to 9. And for this, what about 9? So 9 is also a leader in an array, because it is greater than to all of its right element. Why from all? Because I am taking it from the maximum. Like, if I found an element which is currently a maximum, I check the element. I check the next element. Like, if I was at 9, then I check that it is greater than max. So now the 9 is greater. So this is also leader in an array. Firstly, I'll start with this one. I'll make a max variable, and then then initialize the max variable with 2, and then I'll search the element which is greater than 2. Now the 5 comes, and okay, and then if I didn't found, I just move toward the other element. 3 is not, 4 is not. but in case of 7, 7 is the element which is greater than 5. So I'll store that particular element and change my max to 7. And now currently my max is 7. So I'll make my max. Let's make it. Let me consider a variable name which is max. Okay. So I'll initialize it with array array n minus 1. Okay. So n minus 1 is 2. And if I found the element, one thing, and if I found the element which is greater than which is greater than max element, then I'll update my max and store that particular element. Okay. So in case of 5, now I'll update my max to 5 because it is greater. So now my maximum is what is simply 5. Okay. And I'll store that particular 2. I'll store it this 2, I'll store this 5, and again I'll search for element, then 7 is the element, so I'll erase that particular 5 and update it with 7. So now 7 is my the element is the maximum element. So again I'll store 7. And in case of 9, what I'll do, I'll again I'll search for the element which is greater than 7. So 9 is the element which is greater than 7. So I'll update my variable 9 to 9, and I'll store that particular 9. Okay, I'll store this one. And again, what I do, I'll simply search for the next element. Now I found 17. So my max will update to 17. So now my max will update to 17. And this element is also a leader in an array element. Okay. Then I'll find for the element which is greater than 17. But in the whole array, I didn't find any of the element which is greater than 17. So these all are the only element, like 17. I'll mark this with another color. So 17, 9, 7, 5, and 2. These all are the only element which are leader in an array. Okay. So same with this one. Here 5 is leader in an array. 8 is greater than 5, so 8 is greater than is leader in an array. In this particular case, 9 is also leader in an array, but 8 is not, because now 8 is not greater than 9. So my current max is 9, but in this case 12 is leader in an array. So there are 4 leader in an array element. In this particular case, 3 is leader in an array, 7 is also leader in an array, and again 7 is also leader in an array. Why 7? Because if I found the element greater than or equal to, okay, so now the element is greater than or equal to 7, so that's why this element is also a leader in an array element. But in this situation, my current max is 9, so I have to find the element which is greater than 9. If here there is not 8, if there is 9, so I have two elements. I update my value with again 9, so I stored 2 9 in my array. Okay. So I hope you got the problem, and firstly try it by yourself. Just pause the video and try it by yourself. And if you didn't find anything, then go for the solution. Okay. So let's make a code for this problem. So this particular is for test cases. And again, so basically I am taking the size of the array. I'm taking input as the size of the array and just make a array of size n plus 1. I'll just always make, it's good to make a size greater than 1, like n plus 1 plus by increasing by 1. So it's a great thing. So I just make a size of an array of n plus 1, and I'll just take input. So now I am done with the input part now. So this is the whole input part. Now I have to find the elements. Now I have to find for the element which is leader in an array. So for that, what I'll do, I'll simply I have to store that element. So for storing that particular element, I'll just make a vector, because while making a vector, because I can increase the size of vector dynamically. Like if a new element comes, then it automatically increases the vector sizes. Okay, vector size. So that's why I'm using vector. So let's make it v, and as I told you, I make a variable name max equal to 0. I initialize it with 0. Okay, and I again run a loop for finding the element, for the element which is greater than to all. So for int I equal to, from where I have to run a loop, I have to run a loop from last, because I have to traverse the array from last. So that's why I'm traversing it from last. So that's why I equal to n minus 1. And then where till where I have to search for the element, like greater than equal to 0. So that's why I'll simply do this. And again, what I'll do, if my element is, if array I is greater than or equal to max. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll simply update my, I'll simply push back that particular element, and update my max to array I. Okay, so, and again for again a print statement. So now here the thing comes, in case of printing, I have to print the element from starting, like from left, like 17, 5 and 2. In this scenario they are printing the elements. So in that scenario, what I'll do, because my array is storing, firstly my vector is storing firstly 2, then 5, then 17. So what I'll do, I'll traverse my vector from last. So for that, what I'll do, for int I equals to, from where, v dot size minus 1, because it is the size of the vector, to I greater than equal to 0, and then I minus minus. And what I'll do, I'll simply just print the vector. So this is v of I, and then space between the particular element, and then line change. So this is the particular thing. So let's, so there is an error overloading function with no functional type. Okay, we got that. If there is any other error, basically I didn't have declared that variable, that's why. So 175240, 175240, and in this case 7 is the only output. So let's submit the problem. So now I'm done with the problem. So this is the problem. I hope you like the video, and if you like the video, then please subscribe to my channel. And the next video is on trapping a rainwater problem. It's coming very soon. So for that problem, you must have an idea about leader in an array problem. So just see this particular problem and then move toward trapping rainwater problem. Okay, so thank you all. Thank you everyone.